Taew runs a tiny beauty salon in the heart of the city, but every haircut comes with questions far beyond hair. Where do you sleep? How much do you earn? Why are you still single? Her salon isn't just for beauty. It's a stage of life where a hairdresser must smile, even when it feels more like an interrogation than a haircut. Taew is a single woman who runs a small beauty salon in a back alley of the capital city. Her shop isn't big, just a few chairs, a medium-sized mirror, and enough tools to get by. Every day she meets different kinds of customers, students, house associates, office workers, and even elderly folks who often come more to chat than to actually get their hair done. No days in Taew's life are ever the same. Some customers drop by just for a quick wash and blow, done in minutes. Others come for hair dyeing or nail care, longer jobs that give her plenty of time for conversation. Some customers chat lightheartedly. Others pry into her personal life with questions she don't always want to answer. But staying silent feels impolite, so she ends up giving half-hearted replies. One day, a neatly dressed middle-aged woman crossed her arms, frowned, and asked seriously, "Where do you LCE? Stylist?" Taew replied simply, "I stay here in the shop." The woman's eyes swept across the small salon, her face filled with confusion. "Here, but where do you sleep?" Taew smiled politely and said, "Right here, in the shop." Inside, she muttered to herself, "Are you here for a haircut, or checking in like it's a guest house?" The woman's eyes widened. "You mean you sleep on the floor?" Taew forced a smile. "Yes, on the floor." A thought flashed across her mind. "Or should I give you a LCE demonstration of how I sleep?" Of course, she only thought it. Instead, she kept her head down and continued working. Her answers only made the customer more curious. The woman's gaze swept the shop again, finding no sign of a bed. But the truth was, Taew's shop wasn't as cramped as it looked. By day it was a salon. By night, she moved the chairs and tables aside, laid out a foldable mattress, and turned it into a cozy bedroom. With the curtains drawn, the shutters pulled down, and the glass door closed, it became a warm, appreciate room. The shop had everything: air conditioning, a fridge, a small kitchenette, and a bathroom. Clean and well arranged, it was no worse than a decent apartment. For Taew, this was a space she was proud of. She had enough income to LCE comfortably, support her mother, and even save a little. But to customers passing through, it always seemed unbelievable. What should have been a relaxing atmosphere often turned into a bitter little comedy. Taew smiled dryly, wanting to say, "However I sleep is my business. Or should I lay out the mattress in the middle of the day and show you?" Life in Taew's salon was never dull. Some days regular customers came for haircuts and small talk, but their questions often went far beyond hair. How much do you make each month? How much is the rent? Is it enough to get by? Such questions were hard to answer. Silence felt rude. Too much honesty felt awkward. Sometimes she thought, should I just hand them my bills? So she usually said, "I can get by." But Taew's getting by did not mean barely surviving. It meant LCing comfortably. She earned enough to support herself. She sent money to her mother. She saved a little. She had planned carefully. She was not struggling. Yet in the eyes of some customers it meant something else. Some thought she drifted without direction. Some asked why not find another job? Why not open a bigger shop? When Taew explained her daily income was good, disbelief still appeared. "If I say little you do not believe. If I say more you still do not believe. What answer would satisfy you?" No matter what she said, their curiosity never faded. Sometimes the questions went deeper. Have you ever had a boyfriend? Why are you still single? Taew had learned not to tell the full truth. That only dragged things on. Instead, she ended it quickly. No, relationships are like haircuts. Sometimes you keep it short, not because the hair is damaged, but because it feels right. Her age increased, but to her being single was not strange. It was personal choice. Still, the curiosity in customers' eyes never faded. They came for haircuts but acted like interviewers. Sometimes Taew thought with a weary smile, is this a salon or an interview room? Beyond income, rent, and relationships, Taew faced another line of questions that wore her out. Did you build this building yourself? Did you buy it outright? She smiled politely. No, I only rent the ground floor for the salon. Upstairs is an apartment for rent. That should have been the end, but it opened the floodgates. Where is the entrance to the apartment? How many floors? How many rooms? How much is each room? Are they furnished? Taew sighed inwardly. You ask as if I were the landlord. It was not just one customer. She heard it so often she wanted to stop working and led them outside. Look, here is the staircase. She understood this was part of service, but too often she thought, I should record my answers. Next time I will press play instead of wasting my breath. Ironically, when questions were about hair, Taew never grew tired. She explained with patience. She wanted to share knowledge, but when questions strayed too far, she could only laugh bitterly to herself. Is this a salon or a real estate information center? On some days, Taew had to endure customers complaining about broken families, disobedient children, useless husbands, homes full of problems. For 2 to 3 hours while coloring hair, Taew listened with empathy. Some told tragic life stories, struggling from birth until the present. One customer complained that her husband had no sense of responsibility. He left all burdens for her to carry alone. Taew only nodded, thinking to herself, are we doing hair, or is this today's open mic for venting? Being a good listener was fine, but sometimes she was not in the mood for heavy stories. Sometimes she tried to change the topic, yet customers often circled back to the same stories. Other times she had to listen to boastful customers. They bragged about wealth and success. Some bragged about kids in expensive schools, or the new car they just bought. Taew was not envious of their wealth, but sometimes she could not help feeling annoyed. She gave a dry smile, thinking, keep bragging, maybe I should charge an extra boasting package. But in the end, there was nothing she could do. She had to keep listening, no matter how she felt, because this was her job. What more could she do? She could only resign herself. Even though listening was tiring, within the annoyance there was value. For at least someone found a place to let it out.